Alaikum. My name is Abdullah Fawzi and I will be presenting our project for computer architecture in assembly language. So our project have chosen the restaurant ordering system, and my part was to put the values of each item and then calculate them later on. So the first thought was to use the T registers. Each one will have a value of each item, and then complete the program. But in programming wise, this was a really bad idea, because we have another thing that we can use, which is array. So I have initialized, I have declared two arrays, one for the food and one for the drinks. I have put an extra space here just to not run out of space. And then before we running the program, actually once we are running the program, so this section will run. So but before we display anything, we will initialize these two arrays. So I'll be using the register T0 as the offset of my array. So I have to initialize it with 0 because I'm starting at the first index of the array. And then I am storing the value in the register S0. So basically after that I will call the add snack to index. I will call this function to add this particular value which is stored in register S0 at the offset of T0. So let's take a look at this function, which is here. So here I am storing byte whatever in the register S0 into the snack array or food array at the offset of T0, and then I'm incrementing the current offset by 4 just to prepare it for the next index. And then I'm going back to where I have called the function. So this goes on and on for the food. So this is the first item, this is the second item, third, fourth, fifth item. This happens as well for the drinks. So I have to initialize the T0 again, because if I use the actual value for T0 it will be 24 at that time. So I have to initialize it with 0 since I'm using another array for drinks. So I'm doing the same thing. I'm using register S0 and I'm calling a function called add drinks to index. So this is for the first item, second, third, fourth and fifth items. After that I will jump to the main function. So my partner will explain what will happen in the main function later on, but as you can see that I'm jumping to the main function, and the main function is right below. Why is that? Just to structure the code and control the flow of the code. So whenever this section goes, it doesn't really relate to how the code are structured. So this one could be below, down, and what could be the first section, but it doesn't really matter as long as it will jump to the main section. So the second part that I have done was to calculate the price. So I had one thought for that. The first thought was to look through the array and get each index or equivalent to whatever the user has input. But I thought of another thing. So we are displaying the items to the user in an order of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 per each item. So if the user input 1, so we can take this value. So we are storing this value in a register of T1. So my partner will explain this part as well. But in the calculate drink price, I am loading 4 into register T2. I'll explain that in a minute why I'm doing so. So then I'm subtracting the value of the register T0. I'm subtracting 1 from it, and then I'm saving the value in the same register, which is T1, not T0. And after that, I'm multiplying the value in the T1 by the value in the register T2. So why so? As I mentioned earlier, that the user will input 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So if I got this value 1 and I subtracted 1 from it, which will be 0, so 0 multiplied by 4 is 0. So I can get the index at the offset 0. I can get the value at the offset 0 of this array. Let's try number 2. So when the user input 2 minus 1, which will be 1, and then 1 multiplied by 4, which will be 4. So I can get the value of the array at the offset 4. And I'm loading this value into register T0, and then I am adding whatever in the register T0 to the register to T7. So in this case, I'm using 2 registers, one for the food and one for the drink. So register T7 is used for the drinks, register T6 is used for the food. Why is that? Because later on, when we display the balance, we display each one separately, and then we display the actual balance. So we display how much the food costs and how much the drinks cost, and then we display the full balance later on, which my partner will be explaining. So I think that's all for me, and thank you for listening.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Al-Dailami. I will explain the second part of our project. Add another item. We can see here the load address instruction that we take the argument. We will store or sort this message to this argument in load address instruction. This message we already wrote it in the data part, which is another item. So we will print this message. We can see the after we load the address of instruction, we cannot display this unless we have another instruction, which is load immediate, and we have correspond load immediate with load address in order to display the message for the user. And we use jump and link, and this will let us to go to the function display message and return the value. Display message, we will go to function display message, and we will return this value by using jump registration, and we can display this message for the user. And the second message is the same, the first message. We will use load address instruction and jump and link to correspond load address with load immediate. And the third thing here, we use another instruction. It's the same instruction, jump and load instruction, but this another function. We will ask the user to input his value, get input. In get input, where we can see here the message immediate, and this will let the user to input the integer value and return the message or the value into the same function. And we will put load immediate to store this number to T0, and branch equal this function. It will look like if else. It will use a condition if v0 that user enter in this part equal t0, that the part that we save number 1 in, go to choice function. If the second part, we will determine t0 with 2. If v0 that the user input in this part equal to 0, which is 2, let the or go to confirm order function. Else, jump to invalid input if the user choose another 1 or 2. For the choice, my friend will explain, because in the main idea, in the main function part, I will explain the confirm order. In confirm order, we can see the same instruction that we use in add item, another item. This instruction to display the message of the user, which is the confirm order message, and this will display the message, which is the choice message. And we already know that we have to jump to display message in order to link the LA, which is load address, with LI, load immediate, in order to the program can display the message to the user. And we have to put our value, jump and link. We already jump and link, as we see previously in the last example. And in this part, we will ask user to input the integer value, which is 1 or 2. If the user choose another number, it's not 1 or 2, it will be the program will jump to invalid inputs. If we assume that the customer put one value, number 1, this means the program will take the value of the customer and will the program will do balance between v0, which the value that user input, and t0 that we already how can I say determined the value here in load immediate. And if it's equal, the program will go to print invoice. When we go to print invoice, we will see the same. We will use load immediate instruction. We will put t0. We will store 0 to t0, and in this part we will find the price of the snack. This will explain or will show the message of the the price message. And this part we will use load immediate. We'll store 0 to the argument a0, and we'll use add to add t6 to a0, and we store the sum of t6 and a0 at the same value, a0, the same address of a0. T6 is my friend already explained it for snack calculation, and this for display the integer number. Load immediate v0 1. 1 means for integer number, display this value of a. And for print, for print final price of drink, we will display the message. We already explained it, and here is the same. That instruction. Load immediate. We will save 0 to e0, this argument, and this t7 is related to drink, and we already see that t6 related to snack. And we will add this to part and store it in a0. We will display it. And finally, the print the total of the cost. We will display the message, and we will store 0 to a0 with using load immediate, and we will sum the t6 and t7 for snack and drink, and we will store it to a0, this argument, and we will display the integer value, and we will end the program. For this part, invalid input, as we can see, we can display the message. This the text we that already wrote it in the data part, and we will store it in this argument e0 by using a load address instruction, and we already explained it that we have to correspond it with another function which is load immediate, because load immediate will use v0 for to show the value of a string value. After that, we will exit jump. We will exit jump to end. This instruction will exit the program. That's it of my part, and my friend will explain the last part, which is This is the third part. I will explain the main function and the function that related to mean. First of all, as I already explained in the part 2, base coding this instruction to display the message load address, and we have to have the load immediate to display the message, the get admin. And we already explained that this instruction jump and link to link between load address and load immediate in order to display the message which is get admin ID. The second instruction to let user to enter the integer value, and the integer value this will go to load immediate. Jump and link will go to load immediate, which is this, and will ask user to input the number. When user input the number, the next instruction will copy the number of user and paste it in T0. Copy the value of V0 and paste it to T0, and then the program will show the message as the same this instruction will display the message, and then will ask user to input the value, and the second value that user input, the program will copy the value of V0 to T1, and then the program will jump to check ID function. This load immediate, we initialize T2 as 11111. This is the correct admin ID, and here we will check if T2 equal to 0, T0 that we already copied. This V0 the value that user input, and we copied this value to T0, and we initialize T2 as 1111. If the value that user input, which is in T0, equal T2, this means check pass, means next step. If not, jump to invalid input function. If we assume that the user input the correct value, this means we will go to check pass as the same instruction. We initialize T2 as 12345 as the correct password, and in this we will compare between two numbers. If it's correct, we will jump to choice. If not, we will go to invalid input function. When we go to choice, this let user to choice drink or snack. The first instruction will display the message of user choice. The second will display the message to get choice, and then this will go to load immediate instruction to let the user input the integer value, and then we will copy the value of user from V0 to T0, and then we will go to control choice. In control choice, there is case 1 and case 2. If the user press 1, this means go to snack. If the user press to this mean, go to drink. As we already explained, we initialize the li t1 with 1, and we compare between t0 and t1. And if t0, that user input, equal t1 that we already initialized in this line, we will go to snack. Otherwise, we will go to drink. If the number that it's not 1 or 2 under number, the program will go to invalid input function. And this function drinks to display the available drinks. The first will display like a welcoming drinks. This the list of the drinks, and this will ask user to input the value, the number of the items, and then this instruction will let user to input any number that he wants. That we will copy the number from V0 that user input to T1, and then we will go to calculate drink price that my friend already explained it. That's it for my part. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I want to explain the validate drink choice section. So whenever I get a drink value, I have 5 drinks, so I get a value from 1 to 5, so I need to check that the user has input a value from 1 to 5, not any other value. So I just go and check whether the value inputted by the user is 1, or the value is 2, the value is 3, 4, 5. If they so if the value is one of those 5 values, I will just go and calculate the price. Otherwise, so I will go to invalid input and I will exit the program. Similarly, for validate snack choice, since I have 5 snacks as well, so I just go and check whether the input value is one of those 5 values. If it is one of them, I will just go to calculate snack price. Otherwise, I will jump to invalid input and I will exit the program. So I'm going to explain our execution the execution of our program. So let's start. So the user ID is supposed to be 51, so say 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5. This is the password. So if the user ID is correct and the password is correct, so I just go to the category. Let's say I choose snack, and then I choose chips. Then I want to add another item. I need to add drinks, and then I will pick mango. So I have 3 ringgit for snacks and 3 ringgit for drinks. So let's add another item, which is snack. Let's add a chocolate. So right now I have 5 ringgit for snacks and 3 ringgit for drinks. Let's just exit. So I don't want to add another item. And then do you want to confirm the order? So this is if you want to cancel the order later on. Whether you want to cancel or not. So let's say I don't want to cancel, so I want to buy the order. I just want to check out. So I got the cost for snacks is 5 ringgit, the cost for drinks is 3 ringgit, and the total cost is 8 ringgit. So let's try and check for error handling. Let's say the user ID is 12345. The password is 54321, which is incorrect. So this goes to wrong input value, and I don't get in. So let's say 12345 and the password is 12345. It says wrong input value, and I also don't get in. So this is our authentication system. So let's say if I give the user ID of 12345 and then the password of 12345, which both are correct, so I can get in. So let's choose a category of let's say a 3. So I'll just say wrong input value, and I will exit the program. Let's run again. Okay, so I want to pick snack. So let's say just input a different value, that unexpected value, which is -1. So I get a wrong input value. So it's a 5. Let's choose strings, and then let's say 5. Then let's say I unexpectedly enter a wrong number, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5. Let's say I want to add snacks, chocolate, yes, and then snack again, chocolate again, and then no. Then I don't want to confirm the order, so it says wrong input value. I just inputted a -1. So let's run it again. So I'll pick a snack, chocolate, and then I don't want to add anything. I will cancel the order, so I'll just exit because I don't want to continue with the order. So that's all for our explanation of our execution of our program.